So hi everyone. So we're going to start from standing and have a little bit of movement, which is going to be very good to kind of exhaust or kind of release any excess vata. So being online, being on the computer for several hours can agitate the body's wind, can agitate vata. So you might feel a little bit restless, a little bit like you need to move. So we're going to get that out of the system before we work our way down to the ground. So from standing, you can rest your hands on your hips if that's comfortable for you and extend your right leg behind you. Some of you may have done this practice before. It's going to be all the movements of the joints, just kind of lubricate and warm your joints. So rest onto the top of your right foot. Dasha Chalana, we'll start with some ankle circles. So you just kind of roll all the way around on the big toe in all directions and tune into your body wherever you're at right now. So you might feel like I really gotta like go for it with these circles. I got a lot of excess energy. You can do that. So it can be like a little bit faster, it can be a little bit slower, and then go ahead and reverse the direction. And as you reverse as well, you might change the pace, the tempo. And then go ahead and come back to center. Land flat into the sole of your right foot and extend your left leg behind you. So you want to land on the top of your left foot and you kind of roll over and onto the toes and then back. It feels a little weird. This is not like a movement that we do that often, so it might take a minute to get the hang of it. Adjust the pace as needed. If you feel like you're really unsettled, you might want to move a little bit faster. Also, if you feel a little unsteady, you might put your hand on a wall or a rail or a chair if you've got one near. And go ahead and reverse the direction. And then go ahead and invite your left foot all the way back up to meet your right. Get really steady and rooted. Start to roll your shoulders all the way up towards your ears and back. You want to make the biggest circle that you comfortably can. So it's not like, you know, you're not really forcing it. You want it to feel natural in your body. Big, slow, organic, all the way back. And then go ahead and reverse the direction. And slow all of that down. Come on back to center. So move toward the neck next, but I kind of find it more effective or just kind of nourishes me a little bit better if I visualize myself kind of making circles with my nose. So if you notice yourself like really cranking your head back in space, maybe visualize rather than neck circles, like you're drawing a circle with your nose. So it's a little more subtle. And go as wide as you comfortably can without there being any like cranking or grinding. So if you're feeling cranking or stress or grinding anywhere along the cervical spine, then slow it down and make a smaller circle. And then go ahead and reverse the direction. Check in with your breath, make sure you're still breathing smoothly. Go ahead and come all the way back in the next breath or two toward a neutral spine. And then interlace your fingers in front of you, and you can draw your forearms to touch. And then they're going to kind of alternate. One of my teachers gave me this imagery once, and I found it very helpful, kind of like pistons. So they're kind of alternating. And then roll figure eights or infinity shapes with your wrists. And again, it can be like, if you feel a little cold or sluggish, it might be a more vigorous, or if you just have like a lot of excess energy, it could be a little more vigorous, faster. If you're already starting to feel more into that grounding energy, it could be a little slower, more smooth. Reverse the direction. So notice before you stop, notice which direction you're circling in, and then try to reverse that. That can be a tricky one. Reverse the figure eights. And then go ahead and slow that down. Come on back to center. Release your arms to either side. If you're not already there, take your feet out about hips width distance. And we'll take a twist here. It's like an empty coat sleeves twist, but the focus is really on like upper thoracic spine. So it's not here. There's not much movement in the hips. The hips are going to stay relatively stable, and it's just in the upper body. So you can turn your gaze over one shoulder and then the other as you twist. It's very, very subtle. Remember, we're just lubricating the major joints, the length of the spine. Your arms can be really nice and loose. Alternate your gaze, so you're also getting a little bit of movement, a little bit more movement and lubrication for the cervical spine. And then slow that all the way down. Come on back to center. Okay, just a few more left in this Dasha Chalana. So circle the hips. Now we're going to bring the whole pelvis and all the hips in. So wide without any, as long as there's not pressure or pinching on the knees, just a soft, it's like the, kind of like your whole pelvic structure is just kind of like like hanging at the end of your spine, right? Kind of circling and dangling heavy at the end of your spine. Reverse the direction of that. Let your arms be heavy and loose. So one of the things I love about the Dasha Chalana too is that it's about warming and lubricating the joints, but it's also about learning a pattern or a new muscular memory of like being soft. So if you notice where you're contracting, just let everything kind of hang out. And then go ahead and come back towards center. So for this next one, you'll step your feet right together and rest your hands to the tops of your thighs. So you're going to take like a little, you know, we're not going into Utkatasana here. So it's like a little bit of a propped seat. You're going to let your elbows be pretty strong and then circle your knees. And this one, it's actually more about the ankles than the knees themselves. So you want to circle wide enough that you're feeling a little bit of warmth, a little something happening in the tops of your feet and in the ankles. And remember to breathe. And then go ahead and reverse it. Opposite direction. And come all the way back towards center. Lengthen your legs. Come on up. You can take a slightly wider stance for this last one if you'd like to. My favorite one, Sarpa or the serpent. So it's going to be like a very fluid standing spinal roll. So you'll lead with your heart, bend soft into your knees, let your head drop last, and then lift from the back side of your heart all the way up to standing. And remember this sequence, it's like training the muscular memory in a different way, because the softer you can be, the more fluid this will be, as opposed to some of the more active or aggressive asana where everything is very tight and contracted. This one's about being soft and smooth. Let your arms be heavy. Remember, your head comes up last, so you lead from the back side of your heart. Let's take 2 more. I might have done a third one, actually. I really like that one. And then go ahead and come back up and meet me at standing. So you can bring your hands to your lower belly, or if you'd like a hand to your heart and a hand to your lower belly. Step your feet out a little bit wider than hips width distance apart, and then bend into your knees and let your knees touch onto one another. So this is goat pose. You'll start to feel your quadriceps activate. So you're bending, but you have like a little prop, right? Because the knees are touching onto one another. This is going to be a spot that's not passive. So we're in an active spot, but we're also still. And I would invite each of you to listen in space. We won't be here for too long, but a little bit of space to listen into your body. And notice any qualities, or if you're familiar with the gunas, which don't worry too much if that's a new word for you, we'll cover those together. But if you're familiar with the gunas, scan your body and consider any of the gunas that are very obvious, that are very apparent, that are at the surface. So do you feel hot? Do you feel cold? Do you feel rough? Do you feel smooth? Do you feel subtle or light? Do you feel more like manifest or heavy? You might even think about what you are holding as far as qualities in your body and your system at any layer from this year behind you. What types of qualities are you carrying with you from your relationship to this year? This is simply a place to notice. So we're not looking for something to judge or to change. It's only a place to observe, to take the seat of witness and notice. And then as you're ready, go ahead and inhale, lengthen your legs, heel toe step. Please grab for your blocks if you have blocks nearby, or if you're at home and you have books also work really great. We're all going to start with a supported variation. Okay, so set your blocks or books up in front of you. I promise I'm not texting my friends, but I have a timer here so I don't keep you in any poses for too long. So come down, all variations at home, onto your blocks or onto books. And so you can bend as deeply into your knees as you'd like to accomplish that. For our first pose, as we start to slow down, dangling pose. So allow your head to draw down between your arms and shoulders. And if you feel like this support isn't giving you the variation that would best serve your body, there's a couple different options. You can find opposite elbows. You can also let your arms kind of hang out on the earth. If you're in close proximity to a wall, you can also walk the back side of your heart up into a wall. So that's an option too. That one's gonna hold quite a bit of intensity. And we'll be here for just over 2.5 minutes more. So we're gonna start to get yin-like with our practice. And as we draw the head down and take a deep fold, I encourage you to take your gaze down as well. So if you're still lifting your gaze up toward the top edge of your mat, or like between your thumbs, allow your gaze to draw all the way to the earth, or maybe even out behind you. Really keep your gaze grounded. We're gonna start to pour all of our energy down, going earthward. We're toward the end of our day. We're gonna work to get a little bit more rooted, more grounded, a little heavier. We're going into the kapha time of the day, the more earth time. So we're ready to settle in, to find sleep and rest and nourishment. Just about 1.5 minutes here. If you feel like your mental layer, that manomaya kosh or sheath, mental layer of you is still pretty active, like it's still in a more expansive state, You might follow the movement of your breath with a mantra. You can repeat silently, like, right now I am breathing in. Right now I am breathing out. So giving your mind an anchor is an excellent way to hold it in the present. Just about 3 more breaths. And then with your next inhale, so if anyone out there is new or newish to the yin practice, one of the most important pillars is to ease out. So really come out as slow as possible, either with your hands to the earth or up onto your blocks or books. Really, really slow. A lot of change can happen to those connective tissues in just a couple minutes. And then go ahead and walk your hands forward as if you're going to down dog, but I'm not even going to get that active with you tonight. So just in order to land your knees down onto the earth. I promise we're almost to the cuddly snuggly time. So for this next one variation that I really like is to have a supported. Those of you who have studied with me know I'm very, very Vata. So basically I'm gonna take the laziest version possible every time, but that doesn't mean that you're still not getting a stretch or that you're still not working something. So if you haven't tried this, I recommend up on a pillow or a bolster. And then I'm gonna stay with my toes untucked behind. So still on the tops of your feet and the tops of your ankles, and roll your knees up and then tuck the bolster under for the ankle stretch. So if you're trying this variation at home and it feels like it's not enough, like you want to feel a little bit more sensation, you can also grab for your blocks. I just have mine forward so you can see what's happening in ankles and knees. You can grab for your blocks press. Here, let me move them back and find a little bit more of a lift. Okay. So that's going to give more sensation to the fronts of your ankles. We'll be just about 1 minute here. This one's going to be a little bit shorter as a hold for the yin practice. See if you can drop into stillness. And the home of, I'm going to talk about Vata a lot because it's kind of the master dosha, and that it's the only dosha that has movement. So it's usually the one responsible in Ayurvedic principle when things are off balance or a little funny or a little wonky. It's usually an out of balance or out of whack Vata. So that is the home of it, is the lower body, the lower third of the body, the feet, the legs, the hips, the low backs. We really want to give just a few moments to bring sensation and awareness there to settle the Vata so we can get super rested and into a deep state of relaxation for the Nidra. Take one last breath. And then go ahead and slide. If you're propped up on a bolster, you can slide that forward. Perhaps keep your blocks nearby for this next one. So next is toe stretch. It's going to be different on the feet. You'll lean your weight forward and tuck your 10 toes under and then come back down. So again, both of these tend to be a little bit more intense for most bodies than some of the other yin practices. So we will do only one minute, only a minute. A minute's probably never felt so long for some of you. What I mean by that is that we won't be like doing a 6-minute hold here. So zoom in on your breath. You can rest your hands gently on blocks beside you or let them hang heavy. Whatever feels most like surrendered and soft. So you can counter that really intense sensation that's happening in the soles of your feet. Take 3 more breaths. And then go ahead and ease your weight forward. Untuck your toes behind you. You can set your blocks off to the side. And here's where you get to make your way all the way down onto the earth. So you can slide your sits bones off to one side, bring your feet around to the front. If you'd like, a bolster can be very helpful for underneath the knees, particularly if you have strong sensation in the low back. As well, what I'd like to offer, this is really good for settling Vata in particular. So if you still feel a little bit active, again, a lot of time connected to the computer or to tech stuff can really agitate Vata. It can really agitate Pitta as well through the eyes. So if you want to get really settled and you're still feeling a little bit wound, you can take blocks or even a heavy blanket right on top of your hips, on top of your femurs, or on top of your belly. Of course, if you feel like your neck needs some support, you can roll a towel or a blanket. If you feel cold, make sure you are wrapped in a blanket, please. It's difficult to feel really settled and grounded and nourished if you're feeling cold. So I'm going to give another minute or two to get really settled in to the shape that's going to work absolutely best for you for our Nidra. We're not going to do a full hour this evening. We're doing kind of like a mini Nidra. But as you're wrapping up, getting settled in, just in case this practice is new to anyone, it is believed that about 1 hour of Yoga Nidra practice is equivalent to about 4 hours of deep sleep. So it's a very deeply nourishing practice, particularly for those who may be struggling, which is so many folks, and then particularly this year with depression, with anxiety, with insomnia, with frequent headaches or fibromyalgia or other pain sorts of conditions. This can be a very deeply nourishing and restful practice. And the intention is not to fall asleep. However, if you do, that's also okay. Please don't beat yourself up about it. Your body obviously really needed the rest. So simply arrive and allow yourself to receive. We're going to work to balance the nervous system, balance all constitutions. And get ready to go into a restful and nourishing evening ahead. So begin by bringing your awareness to the entire world around you. Notice, without attaching onto them, notice any sounds outside of your room or outside of the space that you're practicing in. And then start to hone in on any sounds or smells or even movements that you may sense within the room or within the space that you're practicing. Become aware of all sensations around you, the sounds, the smells, the temperature of your room, of your space, the feeling of your clothing on your skin or blankets or any props you may be on. Visualize your own body resting on the floor. And become aware of your own physical presence, your body resting sweetly on the floor. And now begin to move inward for a moment to find a space of safe haven within yourself. The place within you that feels secure, loved, calm, safe, patient, compassionate. Perhaps a particular person or a place comes into your mind that can help accentuate that feeling of well-being and safety. And if any other place or any other person arrives, then you are allowed to have very firm boundaries over your chosen safe haven. Spend a few moments visualizing this place and know that throughout the practice, you can return to this safe haven within you at any time and as often as needed. Now bring your awareness back to your body, your physical body resting deeply on the floor in comfort and in ease. Keep as still as possible without building up stress. And notice each part of your body as it is mentioned. As we move through this portion of the Nidra, allow yourself to simply observe if you find the practice easy or difficult, if you find the practice light or heavy. If you find it agitating or softening, and allow any and all observations to come without judgment. I would also invite you to notice as we move through the scan, if any particular parts of your body feel more difficult to sense or to connect with. And if you're able to sense the entirety of your body at the same time, your whole body at the same time when that is cued. So draw your attention now to your right little toe. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Bring your awareness next to the fourth toe. To your middle toe. To the second toe. And to your big toe. Notice your whole right foot, the top of your foot, the bottom of your foot, your heel, your ankle, your whole right foot. Notice your right shin, your right calf, your right knee, your lower leg, your right lower leg. Your right thigh, the back of your right leg, your right side glutes, your right hip, your entire right leg. And now gently pull your awareness over to the left side of your body, specifically to your left smallest toe. To the left fourth toe. To the left middle toe. To the left second toe. To the left big toe. Notice the top of your left foot. The bottom or the sole of your left foot. Your left heel. Your left ankle. Your entire left foot. Your left shin. Your left calf. your left knee on all sides, your lower left leg and foot, your left thigh, the top, the sides, the back of your left leg, your hamstrings, your glutes, your left hip, the left half of your pelvis, your whole left leg, your whole left leg, your whole right leg, both legs, both legs. Now slide your awareness up to the lower part of your belly, your navel, your whole pelvic region, your low back, your mid back and thoracic spine, your ribs, all of the organs housed within your ribs and your soft belly, your heart, your upper back, your shoulders, your chest, your whole torso, your whole torso. Now softly draw your awareness toward your right little finger, your right ring finger, your right middle finger, your index finger, your right thumb, the palm of your right hand, the back of your right hand, your forearm, your elbow, your right upper arm, your right shoulder, your entire right arm, your whole right arm, your left small finger, your left ring finger, your left middle finger, your left index finger, your left thumb, the palm of your left hand, the back of your left hand, your left forearm, your left elbow, your left upper arm, your left shoulder, your whole left arm, your entire left arm. Now draw your awareness up the length of your neck and throat, the line of your jaw, your mouth and teeth and tongue, your ears, your nose, your eyes, your brow line, your hair, the back of your head, your whole head, your whole body. Bring your awareness now to your whole body. Your whole body. Bring your awareness to any movement in your whole body as you breathe. Feel your breath entering your body through your nostrils and follow it as it moves your chest and abdomen and then flows back out through your nostrils. You may notice you feel slightly enlivened as you draw the breath in through your nostrils into your chest. and abdomen. And then perhaps softened or relaxed as you exhale back out through your nostrils. Begin to count your breaths. And now begin to count back down from whatever number you've landed on. Count back down until you get to 1. And as you lie here, present with your whole body and with the movement of your breath, acknowledge any feelings or emotions that are currently present within you. If you notice anything specific, something like tension as an example, acknowledge how that feels within your experience. Perhaps notice where in your body that particular feeling is housed. And now practice exploring or imagining the opposite feeling or emotion. Notice if you're able to access it. You can continue this practice for the next few breaths. So if you have not already, perhaps explore or scan your whole body once again. Noticing without judgment any feeling or emotion that arises. Notice where it is in your body. And then see if you can explore its opposite or its counterpart. Slowly come back toward an observation of your whole body. Soften away from observing any feeling or emotion. And now bring to mind a memory, any memory that brings great joy and peace to your practice, to you. And linger there. Imagine and remember all of the details of that joyous memory. Recall the peace or the love that was captured in that moment. Who was there? Where were you? What colors or scents were around? What sounds can you observe in your memory? Now bring to mind, if you can, your sankalpa or intention for the retreat, that which you wrote early on in our time together this afternoon. That resolve, the intention that you chose for you to dedicate to with austerity. Recall it now in your mind and allow it to be sealed into your whole body system. Remember and repeat your original sankalpa. You might repeat it silently in your mind, or if you'd like, in your own space, you can repeat it out loud. Notice your whole body. Your whole entire body. You can visualize it as if from above, lying in your practice space, comfortable, grounded, nourished. Become aware of your whole body once again. Become aware of the movement of your breath once again, and how that movement of your breath leads to movement in your whole body. Start to notice anything that you are taking in through your senses. Once again, what you hear in the room or in the space that you are in, what you smell, or if your eyes are open, what you see. Notice the feeling of the equipment underneath you, or if you have blocks on you, or a blanket. Notice the feeling of your clothing on your skin, or air on your skin. Start to search for sound that is further away, that goes out beyond the room or the space that you are in. aware of your body, aware of your breath, aware of the room and the space that you are in, aware of what is beyond the practice space that you are in. Begin to move with patience, very subtle movements with your fingers or your toes. You can rock your head from side to side. Or perhaps roll over onto one side. As you begin to slowly awaken out of the practice, give yourself permission to be nurtured and nourished. So you can give yourself a hug, a squeeze if you're still on your back, or if you're at a seated position, or even on your side. You can warm, if you're in a little colder climate or place, you might create some friction between your hands, create some warmth. You can warm your eyes or anywhere on your body that feels like it could use a little bit of heat, a little bit of warmth, a little nourishing. If you feel like it would best serve you to stay down onto the earth as we close the practice, then I invite you to stay exactly where you are, so long as you are comfortable and cozy. And for those that would enjoy sealing the practice in a seat, please take your time to get there and find any sort of seat that is comfortable for you. And as you land, you can rest your palms face down on your lap, on your thighs, palms down. It has a little more of a grounding effect. Another nice grounding mudra is to have one hand at your heart and one hand onto the earth. So that's another nice option. Or if you like traditional Anjali, if that feels like a more appropriate place for you to seal your practice, you can bring your hands together toward prayer at your heart center. And I thank you all so much for joining this practice this evening, the intro, the orientation, the whole retreat experience with us here this weekend. I hope you have a restful and nourishing evening ahead. And I will see you all bright and early for morning sadhana at 6 a.m. And we will be doing a vinyasa style practice. We won't do anything too vigorous in this retreat. However, it will be vinyasa, so please wear clothing that you can move. We'll be standing and flowing tomorrow. Thank you all so deeply. Have a beautiful night ahead. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow morning. Namaste.